Hello, and welcome back to the Fringe Mysteries channel. This week, I'm going to stay in my home state again and dive into a couple other local legends. Now I have to warn you, these stories may contain my corny humor, and I just want to apologize in advance. With that out of the way, let's go have a good time. I like having good times. Now, I wasn't familiar with either of these two haunting cases. Shame on me, right? This first story is set in the wonderful and enchanting historic district of Oklahoma City, at a beautiful residence that still stands to this day. It's one of my favorite parts of the city, especially from an architectural aspect. Beautiful designs, close proximity to the entertainment venues of Bricktown, and presently close to the Paseo district as well, which is a wonderful setting in itself. It's a true melting pot of culture here. But you don't get historic housing without having eerie legends and ghostly tales sprinkled around. And this story is no different. So, the name of the house where this first legend occurred is called the Carey Place, or infamously known in Oklahoma as the Axe House. The legend is actually quite simple. As follows, the name Axe House comes from two different possibilities. One states that the name comes from hatchet designs that were forged into the exteriors of the home, which is probably the most rational answer to a skeptical person like me. The second one states that a little girl named Carrie had her life taken by a man who, as you guessed it, had an axe. Which I obviously hope didn't actually happen, but the kids at the playground say different, as you will soon hear. To follow the details of the second reason, it says her blood still stains the porch. The legend also claims that if you sing and recite Carrie's name twice, and then ask her to come out and play, that soon after she'll make her presence known. See, back in the day, the kids at the old elementary school used to claim that when they sang the Carrie lullaby, that the swings would start swinging. Someone who may or may not have recently owned it claimed that one night he was disturbed late at night, and when he got up, he looked out the window and discovered a group of women and one man worshiping his house. And I want to make this very clear. If you wake me up in a strange and rude manner like that, I'm gonna fight you. I just wanted to clarify that. And most importantly, as I always want to emphasize, please do not bother the house or the owners. This is an urban legend and something to ponder. Now, let's move on to the cemetery in Blanchard, Oklahoma. And that place is apparently haunted too. Blanchard is another suburb area of the greater Oklahoma City metro. It's a bit south of the city, but less than an hour away. From what I now have heard, when you first enter the front gate area of the cemetery, you may encounter a man in a trench coat, and he may or may not be a meth head. Wrong story. Wrong story. As I was saying, the man you may encounter at the cemetery in the coat may or may not be a ghost. He is known to be friendly. How friendly? That's the question I want answered. Like friendly as just tolerable of all the people there looking for scares, or like friendly as if he wants to hang out, which I'm personally opposed to. There have also been claims that you may feel the man's hand on you. And whether spirit or human, I really don't like people touching me, at least not when it's unwarranted. I do like to be bitten and scratched though, but not in a haunted setting, and not by a man in a trench coat. The fun doesn't stop there though, because if you're lucky, you may get to play hide and seek with the ghostly apparition of a little girl who likes playing in between the headstones, which is also a hell no for me, partner. And I would be terrible to not mention the neon blue lights that have been seen in the cemetery as well. Who knows, maybe those neon-looking lights or orbs or whatnot are just the spirits throwing rave parties. Maybe they're tired of people showing up to parties they aren't invited to. You ever think about that, huh? Did you, Mr. Ghost Hunters? So maybe think twice before going to the cemetery to investigate. Visiting a lost one is one thing, but showing up to the afterlife after party probably requires an RSVP. So be polite. And on a serious note, please don't disturb the dead or deface the cemetery in any sort of way. I do mean that. Look, I've lived here most of my life, and between the people I've known in the city, people I've met from the country, as well as the Native Americans, there is certainly an endless amount of amazing tales, legends, and fascinating stories that are throttled in the history of the Southern Plains. You know the famous song, Oklahoma, the place where the wind loves to sweep down the hectic allergies and tornadoes all through the plains? Yeah, the song's not lying about the wind. With spring approaching, You can bet on a few things, and one of those is that the Benadryl will be flying off the shelves here because the wind is strapped with allergens and I don't know what's scarier after thinking about it. Haunted houses and cemeteries or an Oklahoma allergy season. Anyways, thanks for stopping by and putting up with my quips, and more importantly, I hope you enjoyed these 2 tales that the locals here love to dish on. Please like, subscribe, come back soon, and have the opposite of a terrifying day. Thank you.